Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another SHOUTCraft Clan War right here on MLG TV. My name is TotalBiscuit. I don't want to keep you in suspense any longer because we have this lineup. The hotkeys aren't working. The hotkeys aren't working! What the bloody hell am I supposed to do now? Great. Oh, well that's just going to make my experience even easier. It's like, hit the hotkey button to show lineup. Does it work? No, it does nothing. Screw it, we're starting the game. Buong versus Jaedong, go! Begin! Do it! Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've got them working again. No, not that one. Other button. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. What a start. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you the tyrant himself from Evil Geniuses in the northeast position. In the red trunks, playing Zerg, it is Jaedong. Versus his opponent to the southwest position. In the blue trunks, also playing Zerg. As far as we know, it's a Zerg, it's a Korean sound for farting. Buong. We think. Incidentally, if you're watching in 360p, don't! Click the best button to watch in 1080p. Okay, alright. Neo Emerald Plaza. Pretty standard map for the most part. Fairly short rush distances. Defensible natural. Without too much of a problem, except... as you can see, there is a second entrance around here. Yes, you might think it's easy to get into, but you, of course, be mistaken. You're going to go all the way around there. So, it can be a little tricky to defend this natural area. So just bear that in mind. I think the hotkeys are working again. Thank God. Hopefully they won't break again. That would be nice. Alright, well, Jaedong's record in the Clan Wars, he's the red barcode, as you can see right there, is not incredible. He has won a match, but for the most part, he has actually lost almost all of his Clan Wars matches in both Season 1 and Season 2. And he also forfeited a match in Season 2. Not great for Evil Geniuses, who actually have been performing pretty well in Season 2 and were not too bad in Season 1 either. So, JD let them down just a little bit, which is unexpected considering he's something of the ace player. But he has taken to favoring Neo Emerald Plaza, as we have seen. So, I would imagine that he's got a pretty good shot at it. It is also Zerg versus Zerg, which is a fantastic matchup. So, that was a lightning strike. And I just got zapped in my ear. Wow. My computer somehow survived it. Ow! God damn it. That was actually painful. It somehow managed to zap me in my headphones. I'm not sure how the hell that happened. Good lord, that was actually really, really close. Huh. Well, somehow the stream stayed alive. I don't know how. Usually a light breeze takes down Time Warner Cable, but we survived a very close lightning strike. Okay. So, not too shabby. Alright, let's get back to it. This has already started off in a really weird way. If I can not be electrocuted by lightning, that would be really nice. Anyway, back to the business, ladies and gentlemen. So, we do have a couple of links moving across the map here from Jaedong. Let's go and have a little look, see what he can see, and he'll find himself a queen. But he does get a little bit of scouting information, which is always nice. He can have a look around, and he now has full information on what his opponent is doing, how much gas has been mined, and the spawning pool, and so on and so forth. Outside of that, speed on the way. Lots of queens here for JD, actually. Going up to 3, so does Buong. So he's looking pretty good. And both of these guys setting up a pretty solid defense on both sides. Both getting speed sort of around the same kind of time. not identical builds. We're about to be hit by lightning again, aren't we? There it is. Sorry, I just took my headphones off for a second there. I heard the little crackle, and then the thunder followed it up. Yeah. I'm a little scared. I'm gonna be honest. Jesus. Ow. Yeah. You know, whatever I did to piss off Odin, can we frickin' stop? Or Zeus, or Thor, any of them, I don't care. I suppose pissing off Odin would make sense, you know, then he just sends Thor to be a bastard. Oh, man. Alright, we've got Roaches on the way up for Buong and Lingbane here for Jaedong. And there's a lot of Lings coming, but there's a nice, solid, for the most part, wall-off coming up here. I am a little concerned about the timing, though. I don't think the Roaches are going to get out in time, because he's actually building a bunch of Lings, and he's got his lair upgrade, and he just went +1 missile, so he doesn't have a lot of gas. He evidently does not realize what's about to happen to him, because here come the Lings right into the mineral line. Couple of Lings to chase that down, but there's loads of Banelings. Look at it, there's 11 Banelings coming in here from Jaedong. I was gonna say this looks okay, but then Buong started the missile upgrade and everything like that, and suddenly, I mean, look at the number of Banes coming in. I think this is going to be a crushing defeat here for Buong Prime. Still plenty of Banelings remaining. He's looking to get that sweet detonation. He gets it. The Lings now ravaging the mineral line. 24 workers killed. Getting us around to the last queen here as well. A few Roaches standing by. But look at the economic disparity. 32 drones to 10. Jaedong looking for a crushing early game victory right here. Absolutely crushing. Buong setting up for a longer game, and, well, he wasn't able to pull that off at all. GG, under 9 minutes, Jaedong buries Buong incredibly quickly. Ouch. Well, good start for Jaedong, good start for Evil Geniuses. I think Jaedong's got a date because he wants to get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. Buong gets flattened in a Zerg versus Zerg, Jaedong's specialty matchup. And a good start here for Evil Geniuses. Alright. Let's move on to Game 2. Huck versus Keen. Gonna move on to the American server for that one. Orichalcum, a Protoss versus Terran, right after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Orichalcum, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you, in the northwest position, who is scouting suspiciously early in the Red Trunks playing Protoss, E.G. Huck, versus his opponent, who is about to have something horrible happen to him. I'm just not entirely sure what. In the southeast position, in the Blue Trunks playing Terran, it is Keen Prime. That is one hell of a position for your first pylon. It's actually so far away that he has supply blocked himself. I just want to point that out. Not for a great deal of time, but it happened anyway. This is a gateway proxy. The question is it a two-gateway proxy? I'm going to guess no, considering he's now currently leaving. This is a single gateway proxy. Oh my, oh my. Unexpected, and this is fantastic against a Terran player because, of course, Terran players tend not to wall off against Protoss. Because, of course, why would you? That makes you vulnerable to things like ranged attacks from Stalkers. You wouldn't want that. But unfortunately, it also means that your base is wide open for potential shenanigans. Alright. Well, how much damage can a single Gateway Zealot do? Depends. I mean, if Keen goes directly into a Reaper, then eventually that Zealot is going to die. He's going for a Marine, which is not necessarily the best idea, because of course, a Zealot can potentially pick a Marine off, as you're probably well aware. So, this might work out pretty well. Obviously, we can see some stutter step, fancy micro here from Keen, but this Zealot... Oh, he's going to save the Zealot. Interesting. Okay. All right. So he's not sending in one Zealot, but he's going to be going up against several Marines. He could go with a double Zealot Stalker. That would be really strong. That should be able to kill anything that Keen has. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to start off with Zealots, and he's going to follow up with the Stalker. Now, it's 2 Marines versus 2 Zealots. I think you know how that one goes. A bunker is coming down because, of course, Keen has scouted and says, where the hell is your gateway? But that might be a little bit too late. Huck's here, and the SCVs are off the line, and Huck is trying to do as much damage as humanly possible. And here comes the Stalker. Is it going to be lights out? I mean, so far, Keen's control has been pretty good considering the circumstances, but this Stalker might very well be the thing which puts down Keen. So far, though, both of the Zealots have been killed, with only 3 workers lost. Now, it's a decent amount of mining time gone, but that was not a bad defense from Keen at all. And, of course, Keen could now deploy a Widow Mine and so on and so forth. There's another Stalker coming in to have a little bit of a poke here, but there is a bunker up. So I actually think that Keen survives that, surprisingly enough. The control, the actual micro of Keen, to save that many SCVs against double Zealot is incredible. Really nicely done. We're seeing a 1-base play here with a starport. Potential Hellion Banshee all in, maybe. And the expansion follow-up here from Huck. Well, this game started off in a fancy fashion, didn't it? And a couple of Stalkers are just going to be hanging around here just to try and do as much damage as possible. And the Hellion is on the way here. There's really no defense outside of this mothership core, so... I mean, the Hellion might get a little bit of damage done, but it is only a single Hellion, so don't expect too much out of it. And it's going to get tickled on the way in there by the mothership core. Double Stalker moving in. And thankfully the storm is moving away. You know, I wanted to go swimming tonight. Bastard lightning. Fuck you, Thor. What the hell did I ever do to you? Mythology isn't even real anymore. Alright. Well, Keen is still going with the 1-base play. No Banshee. It looks like we're going to see a Marine Widow Mine drop. Should be reasonably potent against Huck. Now, the strange thing is that Huck didn't actually get that delayed by what he did. He actually only spent 2 Zealots. He is going to lose his Gateway and his Pylon, though. So that's a significant investment, and you shouldn't really be losing that for free. And, of course, we're going to need to see another Gateway come down. And Huck is temporarily going to not be able to build any units. So that could be disadvantageous, and Keen's drop could hit at a pretty bad time here for Huck, who is playing with minimal units, 2 Stalkers, and a Mothership core. But, as it turns out, he's not dropping as of yet. He's going with a single Widow Mine, and Huck sees the drop coming in. Doesn't know exactly what's in it, but he can move into intercept, and that's exactly what he's going to do. And the Observer's already out, so this is actually a really, really safe build here. And the... oh, is he gonna get it? Wow, what a defense from Huck. He not only gets the Widow Mine prior to it exploding and surrounds it with probes, which is hugely risky, but also kills the medevac. 0 damage taken by Huck. Fantastic. And now Keen's going for the expansion, but he's late now. You know, the Nexus is already up here for Huck. That Hellion goes down here as well. Huck's looking fantastic here. His early Zealots didn't do too much, but shutting down that drop puts him ahead, as far as I'm concerned. You can look at his probe count to see that. Double chrono-boosted probes coming out. He does have the Robo as well. Admittedly, he is lacking a little bit in tech. Yes, he has a Robo, but what's he going to do with it? He doesn't have the robotics facility, so... or is it Bay? So I keep screwing that up. Yeah, Bay! The Colossus Den, as I like to call it. And a lovely little pickoff here as well. Huck grabs himself another free Widow Mine. Trying to do a little bit of damage here, but of course the bunker's in a great position. He might get a couple of Marines. Gets 1. But he's sort of lacking that key anti-Terran tech, whereas Keen got his medevac out really early, but he hasn't really done anything with it. Like, that starport doesn't even have a reactor on it yet, and Keen's working on getting that. He built a few more Widow Mines before building that reactor. So, as it stands, the Terran army is kind of grounded. The stim pack is quite late. The combat shield is also quite late relative to regular timings. So, Huck being late on his technology really isn't that important. What's critical is that Huck does have that slight economic lead, and he's powering forward quite nicely. The photon cannon is an interesting choice. Just saying, look, I want a little bit more anti-Widow Mine tech in my base, but now he's getting Blink, and that's where things start to get interesting. I am a little bit worried, though, because Keen's Marine count is starting to get pretty high, has a few Marauders in the mix as well. His medevac count is obviously very low, but he has a decent standing army, with a superior army supply to his opponent and a lot of firepower once Combat Shield and Stim are done. And he's looking to do a little, I wouldn't say a timing, but he's looking to poke a little bit at the front before that key area of effect technology is out here for Huck. So, no Colossus so far. Finally, the Robo Bay goes down, but it's going to be several minutes before Colossi start to get onto the field, and Keen is already prepared to fight. However, the Mothership Core is ready, and Blink is not done yet, so this could be a little bit harsh. I mean, Keen does have the opportunity here, I think, once Stim is done, to do some damage. I don't think it's going to be game-ending, but you never know. We'll see what Keen can do with it. Huck is, of course, well aware of the force that his opponent has, which is always good, whereas Keen is operating a little bit blind here, draws his opponent out of position, but Huck quickly moving back into a defensive posture. Here comes the Zealot warping, and immediately the photon cannon has been activated. Blink is not done yet. Force field placement is not exactly perfect, but it's going to be enough to chase off Keen for the time being. And that's really all that's important. Huck obviously doesn't want to lose this army if he can avoid it. Thankfully, Concussive Shell isn't done, so Huck gets out with 2 measly hit points. Huck also has another observer in the base there, so he knows exactly what his opponent's got. But the fact of the matter is that attack didn't really get a whole lot done. And in fact, the gap in army supply has narrowed now. And we do have +1 armor finished, which is great because Keen does not have any bio upgrades yet. So those Marines aren't going to be doing too much damage, but his infantry weapon will be done in the next 40 seconds. I don't think there's really a timing for Huck to exploit here. He can maybe do a little bit of Blink harass with a 4-Stalker hit squad, but that's really all he's going to get going at the moment. As it stands, the economy is about equal, but there are Colossi on the way, and the late addition of the medevacs means that the Viking count is going to be quite low. So maybe there's an opportunity for a 2 or 3 Colossus push, but once there's about 5 medevacs, I would imagine that Keen is going to start adding Vikings. It depends. I suppose he might make the assumption that the Colossi aren't out yet. There is one available. No extended thermal lance as of yet, though, so it's not that useful. Keen not really on the lookout for observers, which is unusual. You know, someone of his caliber would usually have spotted that moving observer, but evidently his attention is elsewhere at the moment. Huck now moving forward, but this army is not particularly strong. There's the hot pickup, and Keen on the way to reinforce. That third base also in a position where it could be threatened, and it looks like Keen's going right for it. He'll be able to chase this away, not without taking some damage, though. So the Stalker's being targeted and fired down here. Good use of the Time Warp to slow these forces down. It looks like he's going to be able to wipe them out, but I'm a bit more worried about this third base at the moment. Keen doesn't seem to have realized that it's there. In fact, oh, he decides he's going to go for the main instead. Splits off. Huck chases that army away, but where is the Mothership Core? It is there. Does it have enough for a recall? It does not. So potential damage here. A couple of Zealots being warped in, and, well, he gets chased off. It's a shame. I think Keen would have done much, much better if he just dropped on this Nexus here, because his opponent's army was out of position and couldn't have really done anything, but now, of course, the army's moving in. So, a little bit of a lucky break there for Huck. I think Keen's decision-making not quite there. So far, so good for Huck, who actually has a supply lead, which as a Protoss at this stage of the game is not necessarily common. He has a third established. The third is floating over here for Keen, not Kane. And we are seeing a Dark Shrine being added on here as well here for Huck, nice and fancy, and +3 ground armor upgrades. Really focusing on that, which is helpful because so far no armory tech out of Keen, meaning that the +2 weapon upgrade for bio is very far away. So those Marines are going to be doing significantly less damage, especially in combination with Guardian Shield to his forces. So he's looking pretty good there. Here's the big push. Big push. I mean, this is quite a large army, but only... Ooh, big warp in here from Huck. Nice. Good to see that. 3 Colossi. Extended Thermal Lance. armor upgrades, and Keen is only sitting on 4 Vikings, but he's actually building double starport now. In the meantime, looks like he took significant damage from a Widow Mine hit, losing 16 workers in the process, and that has done significant damage to Huck's economy. He will be able to Chrono Boost to get that back, but that was a good hit there by Keen. As it stands, Huck's standing army is reasonably good, but I'm a bit worried because Keen's production is really starting to fire ahead on all cylinders with 3 orbital commands and now a worker lead as a result of that Widow Mine hit. What are we seeing in the meantime? Well, Keen is just posturing and saying, you know what, come to me, see what happens. Oh, my Viking count is at 10 now. It's about to be at 14. I think I can make that happen. And uh-oh, we're going to go to a bit of a wonky base trade here by the looks of it. A couple of scans in play to take out the defensive Dark Templar. And yeah, it looks like Huck is actually committing to a base trade. Where's the Mothership Core? It's actually all the way over there. That third base is probably going to die. It looks like the remainder of Keen's forces are on the way back here to try and sandwich his opponent in. Vikings coming in, but there's really not a lot of Stalkers, so I think these Colossi are in a lot of trouble here, and Keen looks like he is about to turn this around in a real way. Now, these Zealots don't have charge either, so the Colossi are going to die quickly, and then the Protoss army is going to get hammered on the way out. Third base is down now, and Keen is looking to chase his opponent away. DTs move in, Zealots move in to try and do some damage, but really to no avail, and Huck is sent packing with a significant army lead now here for the Terran player, 119 to 55. More defensive DTs warping in, and a couple of force fields for good measure, but I don't think that's going to be enough, and the lack of Blink Stalkers really, or indeed Storm, really hurting the Protoss here. Now we've got a bunch of landed Vikings, and hell, I think the landed Vikings might be enough to clean up what is left of Huck's army. Photon Cannon is now in play, and here comes an Immortal that gets quickly hammered into the ground, and I think this is going to be lights out for E.G. Huck as the Terran army rolls over the natural. It just seems to be a bit of a composition mistake and maybe a lack of harass there from Huck, but one way or the other, Prime picks up a win and equalizes the score 1-1. All right, then. We have a series on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we do. What's coming up next? Well, I can tell you. On the lineup, we do have Zenocide taking on Creator. Terran versus Protoss on Crazy Clash. Moving on to the Korean server. We'll be right back after the break. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Crazy Clash. It's my pleasure to bring you, in the Red Trunks playing Terran, 4 Team Evil Geniuses Zenocide versus his opponent to the north position in the Blue Trunks playing Protoss. It is Creator Prime. So, just to add to the hilarity of the day, to start with, we had delays. Then, we got struck by lightning. Now, Legacy of the Void is down for unscheduled maintenance until 7 p.m. Pacific. That being, oh, yes, that's actually in, like, 2 hours' time, I think. Yeah, that will be 10 my time. So, Legacy of the Void match isn't happening. We are trying to figure out what to do. We're currently talking to the players to see if they'll play some other kind of map, probably in Heart of the Swarm. So we're trying to figure out something that they sort of practiced and kind of have an idea of. Otherwise, it would hardly be fair now, would it? No. So that's great. Should have seen that coming. You know, whichever ancient power I've pissed off, could you let me know so that I can correct the problem? Wow, Zenocide, you are a gutsy individual. We are looking at CC first on the low ground here for Zenocide versus a scouting Protoss. Well, I mean, he should be okay, honestly. I would think, but this scouting Protoss is probably going to be a pain in the arse. He's going to nibble away at that SCV, assuming that he figures it out. In fact, he doesn't even assume. I mean, and I don't blame him. As soon as you see the barracks going down, he knows exactly that it's there. But Zenocide is going to have to pull an additional worker here to prevent the harassment on his SCV. And now we see a little bit of fisticuffs between these two right here. And usually it's the probe that wins because they can just run around and regenerate their shields like some kind of cowardly cur. That's going to happen anyway. Well, as it stands, currently Creator Prime is not really able to punish that, I don't think. He doesn't have a pylon on the other side of the map. He doesn't have a forge. I mean, if he had a forge, then he'd have a way of punishing it, but he doesn't. He does have a cyber core reasonably quickly. Let's see where that Chronoboost goes. Is he going to attempt to get Warp Gate out as quickly as possible? Well, he starts Warp Gate, but he's not Chrono Boosting it as of yet. And you can see the chasing sequence going on here. A little bit of yakety sax would go nicely in the background. And Zenocide are now at the established command center. And the Nexus pretty damn late here for Creator. I mean, that's great. That's good news here for Zenocide. He has a significant economic lead. He got away with it. And there is really no aggressive option as of yet here for Creator, who knows that he needs to catch up and decides not to do some kind of crazy all-in. Now, just remember as well that this map is really bad for airplay. So even if Creator had gone for some kind of Stargate, the Slayer of Bad Rallied Overlords would take them out across this area here. So it's a little bit trickier. Bunker coming up here, and Zenocide are getting away with a nice little greedy strategy by the looks of it, and should be able to produce SCVs from both, and of course is dropping his mules from both as well, which is resulting in a nice little boost here. He is, however, doing this gasless. He's actually getting a third barracks up before his gas, realizing, oh god, he lifts it up and then suddenly realizes, oh yeah, I've got no gas, I can't build any add-ons. So he's relying on just raw Marines here for a while, so that's going to delay his technology quite a bit. Zenocide gets a scout in, somehow manages to slip by both of those Stalkers. I'm not really sure how that happened, but he's going to pay the price for it. But he gets good scouting information. He knows exactly what's going on here. He's not aware of that, but I mean, you know, he knows. If you scout the base and that's all you see, then you know there's an expansion. The thing is, there's a third expansion. Creator Prime. That is probably... Is that the earliest Protoss third I've ever seen in my life? I think it's got to be pretty close. He started that on, like, the 5-minute mark. That's insane. A 5-minute third from a Protoss is bonkers. You know what? And he's got to get away with it. That's the sad thing, is he's going to get away with it because Zenocide is so late with technology here. He starts his stim at 6:30, which is not too bad, but honestly, like, what else has he got? He doesn't have a factory yet. He's not working on starport tech. He's only now building an engineering bay, which is most likely for missile turret, but he is now going into the factory, and this third is so cheeky here. But he can do it. He can actually do it. Interestingly, he chose that one. He decided, no, I don't want to open up the bridge or anything like that. I don't want to break down the rocks. I want to go there. But I don't think Zenocide is expecting that. I really don't. I mean, that's a really, really fast third from a Protoss. It's just such a weird way to play. I mean, it's cool. It's so often that we do not see that. So, nice, greedy play here from the Protoss, who is, of course, delaying his own tech for this. Like, this is a really low-tech game up to this point. We're only now seeing the Twilight Council go down. It's not going to be done before about 8.5 minutes. Well, but yeah, it's about 8 minutes. And the Forge coming down here as well. So, we're seeing, like, really late upgrades from everybody. The Starport is now finally in place. Zenocide finds the third base. I mean, he doesn't actually know about this one, but he's got to assume it's there. You don't take your natural here. That's insane. I mean, it's obviously the wrong thing to do because it's too hard to defend it, whereas this is in the pocket, so why wouldn't you just take that? But this is shaping up to be an unusual game. We see a large number of Marines starting to make their way across the map. Mothership Core is up in play, so I don't know what these Marines are going to get done. I mean, he's going to have Stim, but he's doing it without Medivacs. He's doing it without Combat Shield or +1. So I think Zenocide is thinking to himself, you know what, I can make this happen. Maybe, because what we're seeing is a really greedy tech path here from Creator Prime. I mean, he's getting Charge, and he's going Templar Archive, so it looks like he's going a Zealot Archon, possibly. And Zenocide was looking to do something. He sort of second-guesses himself here after being scouted, and I think it's probably for the best that he turns back. Yeah, it looks like a scary Marine force, but there is enough here to stop that. And, of course, if there was a Mothership core in play with a photon overcharge, then all those Marines would just die. So, Zenocide is good to back off here. And I would expect to see Archons coming out of here. There we go. This is an old style. We don't see an awful lot of that. Not anymore. But it's going to work pretty well. Okay, drop play. You know, that's a great way to try and exploit the fact that your opponent's got an early 3 bases and had a very small army. You know, that's a powerful little bunch of units. But it's slow. And it can only be in one place at any given time. So, as it stands, drop play is exactly the right thing to do. And it's also not the sort of thing that Creator Prime would expect because of the amount of missile turrets on this map. There's only so many places you can really go with a drop. And it looks like we are going to see just that. Creator Prime now sees it, and he is moving back, but he's guarding the 3rd base right now. So damage is going to get done here. Here comes the feedback, and out he goes. Okay, maybe not then. Damage is not going to get done here, apparently. It looked like it was, but the quick swift warp in there from Creator ensures that that does not happen. A 2-pronged attack would not be wise here from Zenocide. It wouldn't do the job, but if he is able to maybe sandwich the forces, I don't know, those Archons are really dangerous. Here comes the stim, and he's going to kill a lonely pylon. That's about all he's going to get, I think. Oh, he's going to get trapped. Oh, there's nowhere to go. He's trying to get out, and he is able to do so just. Oh, don't turn around. Don't get in range. That would be crazy. But he did pull quite a lot of the army away here. And he goes right into the mineral line, takes down the cannon, and is working on the probe line. Takes 5, 6, 7. He's actually decimating the probe line, but he needs to get the hell out of there. Thankfully, there are no Templar for feedback. And we're seeing 1-2 drop play here from Zenocide, who is now warping into the main base, taking out more pylons. But these guys are not going to escape, and Zenocide loses his army here. But he does take down 10 probes and a couple of pylons as well, and keeps his opponent sort of on the ropes here. And the 3rd base is now established for Zenocide as well, so he's playing a good amount of catch-up. He does want to get the hell out of there. Thankfully, Zenocide is quick on the draw. Alright, we are seeing an interesting game here on Crazy Clash. Bear in mind, of course, at 15 minutes, the bridges will open. That changes the dynamic of this map entirely. Now Creator will move across the map. We see a Ghost Academy coming down, plus the Armory. Widow Mines, of course, in play, knowing that Zealot Archon is generally shut down quite well by Widow Mines. But interestingly enough, actually, he has 6 Widow Mines up already, and I wonder if Creator Prime may have made a mistake in terms of his composition here. What is his transition out of this? He's now building a Robo, but I wonder if that's for a Warp Prism, maybe with Speed Zealot drop. That would probably work pretty well. Oh, my God, Zenocide. Zenocide, please be careful. Holy crap. Some damage done here. A couple of workers killed, but Zenocide now moving back. There's the scan. Another drop moving in, but that gets swiftly shut down there by the Charging Zealot and Archon support. We're seeing more Archons coming out here. But the Widow Mines, I mean, the Widow Mines compared with the Ghosts should be able to shut this down pretty well. Which is why I'm kind of surprised that he can do this. I mean, I guess he does have a really large army, but a couple of good Widowmine hits and Creator Prime Zealots go up in smoke. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Here comes Zenocide's army, but I think he needs to leave right the hell now. And thankfully, there are no Templar for feedbacks, and he's also going to be really, really careful about where he puts them. In 30 seconds' time, the bridges will open, and that's going to give Zenocide another attack path. But, of course, it's also going to give Creator another attack path as well, who is menacing towards this base. We're seeing an army move into play. I mean, there's going to be a lot of Widow Mines here, so I guess it comes down to the detonations. Because that's a huge Protoss army. Absolutely massive. Is there an Observer in play? There is, but they're in the wrong place. Zenocide are now taking an opportunity to move, while his opponent's army is sort of stranded over to the third base of the Terran. So Zenocide can pressure here, maybe take out that Templar Archives. That would be a nice little snipe. And it looks like he's going to go and try and do just that. But in the meantime, here comes the engagement. Where are the rest of the Widow Mines? Couple of detonations go down, big shots. And he's got a great position. Look at this. He builds barracks in order to filter the Zealots into the hot gates where their numbers count for nothing. But the Psy Storm is the equalizer here and cleans out the majority of the Terran army. There are a few more Widow Mines, but they have been detonated right now, and this base is going to get decimated. In the meantime, though, we have yet more pressure. As Zenocide tries to do damage, Widow Mine detonations do go off, but Zenocide's army taking more of a hammering. And 22 workers killed here by Creator Prime. He obliterates the third base. And the army of Zenocide is only just staying alive here over the other side of the map. Just trying to do yet more harassment and trying to kill off more workers here if possible. But another big warping of charging Zealots is probably going to be what it takes to clean that out. And now Here comes the army again. Creator Prime's army was just too much. GG, the Bulldozer, rolls over Zenocide, and Creator Prime takes the lead, 2-1. Well, Zenocide looked like he had a chance there, but I think it was just that third base. Getting that third base up so early and then having really nothing happen to it gave the Protoss player such a huge amount of resources to play with that he could warp in large amounts of Zealots, really be greedy with his tech, getting Psystorm out really, really early, and also early Archons as well, before the Ghosts came into play. And even with that number of Widowmines, it just was not enough. Alright. We are trying to figure out what the hell to do next, because it was supposed to be Soppy v TangTang on Legacy of the Void. Problem is, Legacy of the Void's down, so we can't play it. I'm going to figure it out after the break, folks. We'll come up with something. Don't go anywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're loading into the next map. We apologize for the delay. As you may have gathered, it was supposed to be Legacy of the Void, but Blizzard took the Legacy of the Void servers down unannounced for a 3-hour maintenance, so we're unable to play at the moment. So what we've got is what was supposed to be InControl taking on Yoda. Unfortunately, Yoda has had to bail, and he's been replaced by the head coach Gerard, who will be playing Zerg here on this map. Which is a little weird, because I'm pretty sure the last time I saw Gerard play, he was playing Terran. So, it's a little bit of an odd situation, to say the least. You know, I'm just kind of going with it at this point, trying to get you a clan war of some description. Anyway, to the northeast position, in the blue trunks, playing Protoss, it is EG InControl. Versus his opponent to the southwest position in the red trunks, playing Zerg, it is Gerard Prime. Playing Zerg. I wasn't aware he was, 1, capable of playing Zerg, and 2, ever actually did. It seems like he is playing Zerg now. I mean, every time we've seen him in the Clan War, he's played Terran, so this is a little bit weird. Right, alright then. It is what it is. It actually kind of sucks that InControl has to deal with that, because he prepared against Terran, but such is unfortunately the way of it. What he's going to have to deal with at the moment. Alright, well, we're seeing plenty of drones coming out of Gerard to begin with. He's going to go down to the bottom here, looking for the early expand by the looks of it. There's the Forge coming down here for InControl, so there is potential cannon shenanigans, especially if this is a hatch first, which it is. So, this could be potentially damaging here. Bear in mind, of course, this map is a little bit weird in the amount of minerals you're able to get, because you have hybrid mineral patches here. So this sort of screws up the timing of everything, but I mean, this is within range, certainly, of the hatchery. He knows it's there. I have to wonder if InControl is baiting at the moment, but I mean, outside of pulling a lot of drones off the mineral line, what's he going to do? The pylon is about to finish, so I have to wonder what his plan is right now. Probably looking to try and get another, trying to get a cannon down here. There we go. He's got one. Needs to get another pylon down, I think. There's another photon cannon. Is there enough damage coming in on that pylon? I don't think there is, actually. There's a backup pylon coming in, and Gerard realizes he's going to have to pull some more drones here. I was going to say, I think that cannon finishes just before, but he does have backups coming in. I mean, this is a pretty big commitment here from InControl, but of course it's a huge commitment from Gerard as well, who's basically almost not mining at all now. Cannon goes up, but it is about to fall. It's this cannon that I'm concerned about. This cannon is fully operational when your friends arrive. And a backup photon cannon here as well. 8lings on the way here. Photon cannon an immediate cancel here by InControl. Double photon cannon up. I mean, 8lings is not going to do this. This is not good here for Gerard. Not good at all. Lings are on the way, but I mean, I think, is he going to try and counter-attack? He could, actually. That's probably the... But he can't! It's Peninsula. He can't do it! He can't get across the map! Like, you can't. I mean, you've got to go all the way around here, and then you run into a bunch of rocks. You can't get across the map. Unless he bugs them through. Like, his counterattack isn't going to work. The hatchery's dead. Gerard, it's Peninsula. You can't do that. He's trying to figure out another way. It's like, no, I'll go this way. No, no, you won't. It's Peninsula. You can't. Oh my god. InControl with a phenomenal start here on this map. The Nexus is about to be completed. The Zerg is down to one base. Baneling Nest on the way, but he's trying to break the Zerg cocoon. It's going to take forever. You can't do it. You're better off sending drones across the map to mine that stuff out at this point. That's your only way across the map here. He's managed to bug one Ling through this. We apologize, of course, for the little white box. That's a bug with Game Heart, as you're well aware. But he's bugged a Zergling, so he's able to attack with 3. But it's going to take him ages to make his way through here. There's going to be more than enough defense ready. He's got 2 photon cannons in place. There's no chance. No chance in hell. Oh my god. Gerard is about to get powerbombed through a table. InControl has got them all set up here. It's nothing but Lings and Banes. 10 drones versus 28 probes. Not a chance. You're not winning this in a million years. I mean, there's going to be 34 Lings, which sounds great in theory until you realize there's like 2 photon cannons. There's going to be a mothership core here as well. I don't know. Maybe with that many Lings you can do it? No. I mean, you couldn't hit this mineral line, but even if you clear out this entire mineral line, does it even matter? Alright, the egg's finally down. Here he goes. Big long conga line of slow Zerglings moving across the map here. Another cannon being brought into play. Baneling morph. Okay, if Gerard pulls this off, it's going to be incredible. Oh, InControl. Is he going to see it? No, he doesn't see it. He doesn't see the Banelings. What are the Banelings going to do, though? Is he just going to try and smash the forge? I don't... Some damage is going to be done here, but InControl has Sentry, so he can make sure that nothing goes up that ramp. It's a huge Baneling bust here. Look at it, 13 Banelings. Oh, wow. Okay, this is it. This is the one and only attack that the Zerg player gets here. And there's no photon overcharge, so at least that helps. But the cannon's already doing damage. And look at the Banelings coming in here. They're going to start to detonate. Lings moving into place. A couple of force fields put in to try and split the Banelings up. But they manage to surround that, and they crash into the sentries. He's also going to kill that photon cannon as well. Another Baneling moves into the center of the probe line. I still don't think this is enough, though. I mean, even this entire... With everything he's just done, his opponent still has 3 times his workers. So I don't think it makes any difference at all. That was it. GG! InControl picks up the victory and equalizes the series 2 games to 2 for Evil Geniuses. He did it. I believe that's his first victory in the Clan Wars. Impressive. Most impressive. All right. The Clan War continues. It's 2 games to 2, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on to the next map as quickly as we possibly can. That is going to be the 2v2 Suppy and Zenocide taking on Buong and Keen right after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Deck 16. It is my pleasure to bring you in the red trunks playing Zerg, Buong for Team Prime and his teammate Keen in the baby blue playing Terran versus their opponents to the southeast position. In the stylish pink trunks playing Terran, it is Evil Geniuses Zenocide and his teammate in the blue trunks playing Zerg, it is Suppy. little bit of lag. She'll be okay. Hello. All right, so this is a nice little innovation that we've actually seen in 2v2. That the Zerg player is the one that actually takes the extractor for the Terran because it's actually slightly cheaper. So it's pretty neat, actually. Of course, they're sharing resources and things like that. We're seeing a pretty early spawning pool here for Buong. In fact, he's building it on 10. One has to wonder if this is going to be 10 pool... I mean, it can't really be 10 pool Hellion. Keen hasn't even started a barracks as of yet. I mean, it could be, I suppose. There's the barracks. I mean, that is a really, really early Zergling spawning pool there. I do wonder what that's all about. Whatever the case, we're seeing an expansion out of Suppy by the looks of it, and there's the barracks, pretty standard here from Zenocide. They're going to have to deal with maybe a little bit of pressure, but not too much. Now, 10 pool from Buong. It is 10 pool gas, though, so it looks like it's going to be 10 pool speed. And we may even see a Baneling follow-up here as well. So perhaps it is some kind of, like, Ling, Baneling. It can't be Hellions. The Hellions are going to be so slow. If they were going for the classic Ling Hellion rush, then this gas would have been first and all sorts of things like that. But it's not, and he's actually getting a Reaper. So I'm not 100% convinced by the 10 pool opening. It's a little bit odd. I'm not sure what it's going to get done. Probably not a great deal. Although Suppy is, of course, playing very greedy. You know, he's getting his hatchery, and he got his pool really, really late. So, oh, wow. That's going to screw them over hard. So, Zenocide has gone with a reactor here on only one Marine. This is a huge miscalculation. And Buong is now moving across the map with these Lings, and suddenly... I mean, they had no idea that this was happening, so this is going to be a worker pull here in order to deal with this, frankly. And we might see a single Hellion come out, but these Lings are already in the base. There's already 6 of them. So they're going to do something, no doubt about that. We're going to see some damage done. The question is how much. And Buong is now trying to nibble away at that drone line as best he can, but Suppy's already running for the hills. There's the cancellation, and he loses a drone. How much more damage can Buong actually do here? Heading over to the second base to nibble away and do a little bit more. There is a Marine moving it, and now we see the defensive play here by Suppy, who has not lost a great deal up to this point. With the Marine support in the back, that's going to help, and Suppy finally has his own Lings, so a solid defense. I mean, potentially a lot of damage could have been done there, but as it turns out, it was not. And great micro here by Suppy. He loses almost nothing. Nice. All right, well established there, and in the meantime, we see that Buong is going to go take his expansion, and the CC here for Keen is almost complete. A couple of Hellions moved across the map here for Zenocide. Probably not going to see too much damage done. The bunker is going to be complete. They can slip by, of course, but I don't expect it to do too much. Uh-oh. We have a siren going off, meaning that the acid is about to raise. Nothing on the low ground, so no real big problems there as of yet. Zenocide looking to pick something off. Maybe get a worker transfer, but of course that's not going to happen anymore. No damage done here by the acid. We're seeing a nice early lair here out of Buong. 6 minutes. Just poking away here, just trying to do what he can, which is really not a lot. And this CC is taking almost no damage for obvious reasons. Let's have a look and see what Suppy's been doing in the meantime. He's been working on his economy. He's getting a lair, but it's a lot later than Buong's. He is gathering a lot more gas. Interested to see what he decides to do with that. Zenocide are moving additional Hellions across the map, so there are going to be 6, but he is going up against a bunch of Marines. He needs to get those Hellions there pronto. If he can catch those Marines out of place, then that will be great, but he's not quite quick enough to do that. Now the bunker is back up, but he's managed to get behind the mineral line, so we'll see if he's able to do a little bit of damage with that. Zenocide are now moving in, but he doesn't get any shots off. Zenocide are also backing up with a Banshee here. So Zenocide are being the sole aggressor at this point. Suppy's not building military units at all right now. He's droning as much as he possibly can. The Banshee is now making its way in. It's warded off quickly by the Queen there. Buong going for a really fast Spire. And, of course, he can get fed gas by Keen as well, who will probably play a fairly low gas style, allowing for additional Mutalisks to come out. should work pretty well. Good damage done so far. I mean, I bet you generally don't see half a CC go down to 6 Hellions, but finally, looks like those Hellions are going to be driven back. The Widowmine's also in place as well, so Zenocide does not want to overcommit here. Zenocide getting pretty bad shots off as well, and Buong with some lings, trying to get the surround here, chasing these guys away, and they will, of course, fall, I think, before they get back home. I am afraid the nibbling is real. Zenocide's Banshee is still around the place. He's just trying to do what he can. Now he's finally getting some damage. He's able to get into Keen's mineral line and do a little bit there. A couple of mutas now on the way here. The gas count looking pretty good here for Buong. He can follow it with a great deal more, but he's actually low on minerals as opposed to gas here. Ling run by looking to try and do a little bit here. Zenocide's second base takes a little bit of damage, but I don't anticipate that doing too much. Suppy actually still has slow Zerglings. Wow, I actually didn't realize that. We've got a Spire coming up here for Suppy as well, though. And it looks like his gas count is pretty high, too. Buong moving a Queen into... Actually, 2 Queens into defensive position here to help out Keen. Great teamwork by the Prime team. And Suppy desperately trying to chase down fast Lings with slow Lings, which is going about as well as you would expect. And they finally decide that they have had enough of life. So how many Mutalisks, more to the point? Well, we're going to see about equal here, but we are going to see +1 flyer attack here for Buong. Some damage can be done, but what Buong has this nice early advantage where he can start to pick off Overlords, which is great. And of course, what better to do on a map where acid raises from the ground and destroys everything there than to, as you might imagine, use flying units. Mutalisk now moving into place, doing some damage, but Suppy's got his own here, and Suppy actually has a lead in terms of the mutas that are available, so Buong really wants to get the hell out of there. He's going to lose a few Mutalisks in the process. Yeah, the slight lag is in the game, by the way. It's just started. We're really not sure what's causing it, so it is not for you. In the meantime, Keen looking for a drop. That's chased away here by the Hellions. It's just a drop of 8 Marines, so it's not going to get too much done when it's tracked like that. I'm going to see an air duel here that Suppy should be able to come out on top of. The +1 isn't done yet here for Buong. It's a long upgrade. And Suppy does have a slight number lead, but reinforcements come in on the back. We're looking at 16 versus 14 now. So Suppy needs to watch out. It would be nice if Suppy was able to go and catch what remained of that drop. Keen actually gets a drop in and does some damage. He's looking to kill the Queen here. He's able to do that. Zenocide responding with Hellions, but not before taking damage here. Gets a couple of good shots off, so most of those Marines are going to die. Nice splitting from Keen just to maximize the amount of damage. I mean, the amount of Hellions that died there was a little bit excessive. And now we get the air duel, and Suppy has actually been surrounded here by Buong, who is looking to get the better trade, but he's not able to do it due to a slight disadvantage in terms of numbers. It's a dodgy thing indeed. See another expansion coming down here for Buong. And it's currently 14 mutas versus 18 on Suppy's side here. Suppy doesn't have the upgrade, but he is actually getting Flyer Carapace, which is a great upgrade. Always nice to have if you're playing muta versus muta. It really reduces the amount of damage that each individual bounce does, so it's actually a bargain investment. Absolutely what you want. Well, Zenocide is just shocking around here with his Hellions. I'm not really sure what he intends to do, but he might be able to catch these Speedlings out, which would be nice. Although, more accurately, I think the Speedlings would end up catching the Hellions if he's not careful. Buong now sitting on 18 mutas to 23. Suppy with the solid lead in that regard. And he is also about to have Flyer Carapace, so he's going to be able to effectively neutralize that +1 attack there. That should certainly help him out a great deal. And he's looking to try and get the engagement as that completes. And he has the numbers for it. He just needs to make sure that all his mutas are in one place. And if they're not, then he's not going to be able to get too much done here. He's got to be careful not to get caught out of position there. You see Buong trying to engage. Alright, and here we go. Looks like Suppy is trying to do the damage here. We do have a couple of units on the low ground. Suppy's just waiting at the side there, just to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. Got to be a little bit careful if he moves to the wrong position. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Keen, run! Keen is going to have to leave immediately. He's getting off the high ground. It's the absolute last place you want to be. You end up losing a lot of units that way, but he ends up getting out. Buong getting yet another free kill here. And we're seeing both teams just establishing battle lines at this point. Suppy continuing to do damage, and it has the superior muta count, is looking for the +2 flyer carapace upgrade. Although there is going to be an opportunity here for Buong since he's about to finish +1, if he can get the numbers. And Keen also has a lot of supporting Vikings here as well. So what it seems to me that Zenocider is doing is he's feeding Suppy as much gas as possible to make sure that the muta count is superior. We actually don't see a lot of units coming out of Zenocider at all, but he's now starting to switch into Thor Raven in order to counter this mass air here from Buong and Keen, which may work. Suppy now moving into position, but suddenly realizes there's a bunch of Viking support here, so that's not going to work out too well for him at all, and Suppy needs to get the hell out. Looks like he's going to hit him on the flank here. There are a few missile turrets in place to help out here. And the Lings get roasted on the ground. Suppy looking to try and support and take those Hellions out. A good point was made in chat, by the way. It may be possible that our guys are accidentally updating Legacy of the Void. We've just got an 8 gig patch. And Buong looking to try and do damage here, but Suppy jumps right on top of it. He's got Thor support. He has Thor support in the background. That's going to do significant damage. Who's going to win this engagement? Will the Vikings be enough to break through Suppy's count? It looks like they are, but the Thor support in the back is doing damage here. As Suppy wheels around to try and do a little bit more. One Thor's taken out, but these Thors are doing so much damage. I don't think it's quite going to be enough, though. I think the Vikings should be enough to actually break this. The Thor's doing what it can, but it's just not quite enough. It loses the Raven as well. Ouch. Nasty. Very nasty. Another Thor coming in the back, but that was the muta count gone. There's now 11 Mutalisks versus 4 here, and Keen actually has a ground army of landed Vikings and Hellbats, which is actually doing a pretty damn decent job here. In comes Buong's muta force, but there is a double Thor set up here to try and do damage, and they're driving them away. Buong runs right into that. Thor missiles smash into the Viking count as well, driving that away. Zenocider attempting to try and get this base up is going to get jumped on here in a big way. Loses all of his workers in this base. Landed Vikings are going to drive these Hellions back too, and the Thors are going to do a lot of damage, absolutely. I mean, the Thors are ripping through the Vikings. Absolutely no quarter given here by Zenocider. Very, very dangerous place to be right now. No ground reinforcements coming in. And this has been an absolute nightmare of a game for both sides up to this point. I can read chat, guys. Come on. I'm just checking the updater. Yeah, it's not updating, so the lag is not on my end, I'm afraid. I can't really do much about that. Not much I can do about that at all. If it's the players, then I really can't stop them. So, it's not updating on my end. Alright, well, one way or the other, Buong still with a significant lead in terms of his air forces, but with 7 Thors and 3 more on the way, one has to wonder how long that is going to last. He does have good upgrades, certainly, 2 on. But still, is that going to be enough? Stop that many Thors, and the march is on the way. Suppy bringing roaches in with Thor support in the back. This weird little Ling run-by thing kind of going around the side here. And Keen is sort of tracking these roaches at the moment, but if he ends up on top of those Thors, he's going to be in a lot of pain. Oh! Big shots. Good damage done. Needs to bring more Thors in, of course. That'll be absolutely ideal, and Suppy trying to get aggressive here onto Buong's 4th base, and it looks like he's got the forces for it. I mean, the mutas are coming in, but with that many Thors on the ground, I think Buong is stuck in a position where he needs to transition, and he doesn't have the means to do so. 5 Thor backup, enough to devastate the majority of these. I mean, God, even with 36 of them, I still think 5 Thors is going to do quite a lot of damage. Maybe it's not enough, though. Maybe it is not enough. I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? But there's another Thor backing them up. And, of course, he's currently sitting on 10. He's bringing tanks into play as well. He's playing full mech here. Here come the ground units, and it looks like he's going to go for it. Does he have enough Thors to actually kill this many Mutalisks? The Mutalisks dive on top. They try and do as much as they can. And with the ground forces, it looks like Zenocider is going to get overrun here. Uh-oh, this is looking pretty bad for Evil Geniuses. The combined arms force of Keen and Buong were able to smash through that army. And that puts Zenocide in a pretty bad way. Keen building up a significant bioforce. Of course, he needs to be careful. If Keen ends up losing his army here to the acid, that would be absolutely disastrous. He's got a few units sort of misrallied at the moment. Suppy trying to do some damage, but not really getting it. And we're going to see a few dead units here from Keen, by the looks of it. Yep, he's still rallying units across the map, which is not going to work out well. Oh! All the reinforcements killed there. Admittedly, the majority of Keen's force sort of stays alive, but a good 20 or so supply lost by Keen there. Suppy now adding infestors into the mix, looking for those big money fungals, and he gets them! He gets them! Big Thor shots going down to try and eliminate the remainder of the Mutalisks. Huge amounts of mutas being cut from the sky here. Absolutely devastating moves from EG, who are still in this game, but the remainder of the mutas dive on top of the Thors. Mass repair going on right here. Zenocide moving it to try and support with a Raven, but it doesn't have a Seeker missile available. This Thor is still alive, but it does finally fall here. And now the Bioforce smashing through Zenocide's base with the mass drop here. Oh, a brave effort here from Evil Geniuses, but they are taking a pounding at this point. Looking for some more fungals, but I don't think that's going to be enough against a spread out Bioforce. Zenocide are moving his tanks in, but they're getting sniped here by the mutas. And there's no Thor support anymore, so those Mutalisks are reigning supreme. Oh, man. Well, I think this might be the end of EG. They've fought well here, but they're about to go down 3-2, and then we're, of course, going to, I guess, play the ace match, because we don't really have an option there, and see what else we can do. All right, there you go. EG taps out, and Prime takes it, and it's currently 3-2 in favor of Prime. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Legacy of the Void is currently down, so we can't play our Legacy of the Void game. So what we're going to be looking at trying to do is playing the ace match now. If Prime wins it, all sorted out. If they don't, well, we figure that out when we come to it. You're watching SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. What can I do? What can I do? I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what should have been the ace match, but due to the fact that Blizzard brought down the Legacy of the Void server in the middle of our broadcast, we're improvising. So this is actually map 6 of this Best of 7 series, and what we have for you is EG's ace Jaedong. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing to the southeast position as Zerg here on Kliskada, which is the ace map set in place 2 weeks ago for this particular series. And his opponent, the ace for Team Prime, in the blue trunks, playing Terran to the northwest position, it is TangTang. A delicious drink indeed. So, what happens here? If Prime wins, no problem. We're done. End of Clan War, 4-2, great. If TangTang loses, we have no idea. This is fairly unusual. We usually do not need a contingency for this, because it's never happened before. But hey, we'll figure something out. What it's going to be, that's going to be a mystery. Okay. Alright then, we're going to see a hatch first play here from Jaedong, and a barracks first here from TangTang, with the gas up at a fairly quick rate. So, expect to see a Reaper opening here from TangTang. Kliskada is reasonably standard, although there are a couple of weaknesses. For instance, the back rocks here. Potentially damaging. That's the sort of thing that can get you really screwed if you don't pay attention to that. So you need to watch out. Outside of that, though, the map is relatively regular. You've got your third base right here, which does have these collapsible rock towers, which you absolutely should collapse because they give you a fantastic defensive position on the third. If you don't collapse them, then your third is wide open to attack. So that is worth bearing in mind. That's the sort of thing a Zerg player in particular needs to be thinking about. TangTang with both an SCV and a Reaper Scout here. Nice and quick. He may attempt to bunker, perhaps, but I don't think he's going to get one done. The spawning pool is up at a reasonably good time. The Lings will follow up, so it's very unlikely. Not that a bunker would really do much anyway. We're actually seeing a reactor follow-up here from TangTang, so nothing unusual. Straight into an expansion. I mean, that doesn't get more standard than that here. And TangTang's going to bring his Reaper across. We're going to see 8 Lings out of Jaedong here. That's it's a bit larger than normal. That's a few more than you would expect. Looks like he really wants to shut that Reaper down nice and quickly. It does give him some limited aggressive options onto this command center here. And bear in mind, he has scouted it, so it looks like he may attempt to attack potentially, but this we are about to find out. TangTang just poking away with this Reaper here. Distracting Jaedong, so those 8 Lings really aren't going to make too much of a difference now. Maybe if they'd gone straight across the map, we could have seen possible delay to the command center, but got a couple of Lings moving over. There's a couple of Marines on the way, so it's not going to make any difference, and the CC is going to finish. If he'd gone straight across the map, that would have been okay, but bear in mind, if he'd also gone straight across the map, he would have run into the position where the Reaper could have just harassed him all the way over. Now, Jaedong loses an Overlord in a pretty key position there, which puts him at a supply block quite early on. Generally not great. Oh yes, and the maintenance time, by the way, for Legacy of the Void has now been updated to 9 Pacific, which is in 2 more hours, so it's not happening. Lovely pickoff, though, by Jaedong. Does lose both the Lings, but worth it for the SCV, in my honest opinion. Still trying to chase down the Reaper here. He's about to have speed, so if TangTang gets a little bit too cheeky and hangs around a little bit too long, damage could be done. But we're seeing a pretty standard Hellion opening here from TangTang, so he's going to get that Reaper out of there. And you'll have Hellions on the map going forward. Jaedong has not taken any third base as of yet. He is droning up reasonably quickly. Let's see if he wants to take a third or if he's going to go for some kind of 2-base play. He's actually building a spine crawler defensively, now going into lair, and he's only on 1 gas. So I do expect the third base to come down here for him. He wants a spine crawler in place just to ward off any potential aggression, but there's really not a lot there. It would be lovely if he picked that off. He could actually get a couple of SCVs here. That would be nice. Gets one and looks to try and get the second one with the speed and gets it. Lovely. Loses all the Lings for it, but worth it, in my opinion. Not too bad. Even a single solitary Ling just with scorch marks all over its body, hanging around waiting to see what he can see. 2 more extractors coming down here for Jaedong. There's the pickup and TangTang with the early drop, and there are 13 Lings on the field. Depending on how good these Widowmine hits are, that might be enough, it might not. Cloaking field on the way up here for TangTang. That's actually... I'm kind of surprised he's doing that right now. Maybe he doesn't realize that the lair was as quick as it was. Maybe he doesn't realize there's not a third base down, but... yeah, I mean, there's going to be Overseers in play, so I don't really see the Banshee Cloak really doing much here. Maybe TangTang will realize it and cancel it. I guess we'll find out. More Lings make their way in. I mean, how does Jaedong keep getting in here? Well, he's doing great damage, but good hits for the Widow Mines here as well, though. I mean, that was half the mineral line devastated. And another Widow Mine drop here. And a good detonation, which actually takes out some lava there and a couple more drones. So this drop from TangTang has done well. Admittedly, Jaedong's managed to do really well with the Ling counterattack. Oh, he shoots down the dropship on the way out, which is always nice. He does need that Overseer to get rid of that, so that should be good. Jaedong's not in a terrible position, but I'm just worried about him not taking this third base, and he looks like he is going for some sort of 2-base muta play. Still that Cloak on the way. I'm really surprised he's still going for Cloak. Oh, lovely surround there by Jaedong. As usual, gets the Lings exactly where he needs to go. And he's now splitting the Lings off. He realizes there's no point in overcommitting to the front here. I mean, there's actually very little defense. I mean, pretty much the entire army of TangTang was actually in that dropship. He has a Banshee. And now he's having to pull SCVs to repair here, realizing, uh-oh, he's not going to stop. Yeah, you're right. He realizes he can go in. And the Banshee is cloaked right now, but didn't get anything done. So, as I said, you know, I had doubts about that Cloak. And I think it really comes down to, I don't know, it was a really weird timing. Like, it wasn't a fast Cloak Banshee. I mean, Zergs would go for lair around that time. Maybe he assumed that Jaedong was just being really, really greedy, but even then, I don't know. I'm not convinced by it. Well, Here come the Mutalisks here for Jaedong, and he's looking to get 7 Mutas and the +1, and that's fantastic in this current position. TangTang's barracks production is not looking great right now. It's going to start kicking into play with 7 Marines coming out of each, but, I mean, the Mutalisks are on the way now, so that's not really going to help them all that much. Good missile turret placement, though, so that's going to drive them away. And the nice thing, really, about these Mutas at the moment is that it's going to shut down any potential drops. And he jumps right on top of the Marines. Lovely move. Grabs all 3 and grabs the reinforcements here as well. Eats a few missiles from the side here, but Jaedong's control looking good. Very good here. Hasn't lost a Muta yet. One's about to go down, though. A little bit of a mistake, not targeting fire there, but now's probably the time to leave. He's still sort of dipping in, trying to take them out. Trying to do as much damage as he can. He actually forces an evacuation. It looks like this reactor's going to get cancelled as well. Just diving on these reinforcements as they come out, but you can only really do this for so long because the Marine production is now at the sort of state where Mutalisks are going to get torn from the sky a little bit too quickly. He is going up to 12 Mutas, and he's about to have +1 as well. He's adding in the Baneling nest here, and he's going to play 3-base Muta Bane with Zergling on the ground here as well. Armory on the way up. That's going to be nice, and it's not quite, it's almost timed here with the upgrades. He's looking for the heavy double upgrade style here, and looking to try and get the pick off on the Banshee. Doesn't get it, gets out though. Still 12 Mutas, and they're about to have +1 flyer attack. Baneling's being morphed in. Here comes the push from TangTang. 26 Marines, a significant number. I mean, we're relying on Baneling connections here, but bear in mind, he's not going to have Baneling speed when this actually hits. And it looks like Jaedong is trying to delay this as much as possible, but it's not really getting the job done. Thankfully, he has decent enough creep spread, so that means that this attack is going to be slowed down a little bit. Looking for a Ling flanking maneuver here to try and catch some of the reinforcements, and that's exactly what he's also doing with his Mutalisks, which is forcing TangTang to pull back. So this is a really, really nice maneuver. Now these Lings are, of course, going to get killed, but not before they become a gigantic pain in the ass. And what's important is it forced TangTang to pull away. And TangTang had enough Marines to really do damage there, but he pulled his army halfway across the map, and that was Jaedong's little trick. And what it allowed Jaedong to do was establish more Banelings, more Lings, and finish Baneling speed, which is about to be done in about 5 seconds. And this drop gets spotted here as well, and the Mutas are going to jump right on top of it here as well. And that's going to be a lot of dead Marines pretty now quickly. But the reinforcements coming in here from TangTang. It was perhaps a little bit of a trap, and he gets a Muta for his trouble, trading it for a few Marines, which is not too terrible. Medevac count's not that high, though. I'm a little bit concerned. This creep spread is still helping. Here come the rolling Banelings coming in. TangTang needs to split, and he's not splitting fast enough. TangTang gets completely overrun here by Jaedong. Oh my. TangTang in a huge amount of trouble. Jaedong's excellent distraction play bought him the time he needed to build up the force, and now the momentum is strongly in favor of Jaedong as he jumps on top of the bunker here, tries to break through, doesn't waste the Banelings, now looking for the connections, and TangTang's army is going down. There's nothing left! There's nothing left! TangTang has 6 Marines and 2 Hellions. That is not enough. Rolling Banelings connect and finish off the remainder. GG is called, and now we're in trouble because I have no idea what to do. But grats anyway to Jaedong for a great game. Again, 2 for 2 here in this series. Now what? God damn it. Okay, right, well, we're going to have to figure something out. So we're going to talk to the teams during the break, and we'll figure out exactly what we're going to do. It's currently 3 games to 3. We just played the ace match because Legacy of the Void is down. We'll figure it out right after the break. I promise. Finally. The Terran has come back to Echo LE. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our decision. After discussing it with both teams, we decided that the map should be played on the same map that the Legacy of the Void game was supposed to be played on, but it will be played in Heart of the Swarm. Therefore, we will play a standard Heart of the Swarm map and Heart of the Swarm game between the 2 original players that were set to play on the Heart of the Swarm game. So without further ado, I bring you TangTang. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the southeast of Echo LE HOTS Edition versus his opponent to the northwest position in the blue trunks. Playing Zerg, it is E.G. Suppy. Oh, good lord. Yeah, we had a bunch of problems getting people into the game. We had to remake the lobby a million times. Everybody had to relog. Whatever they've done to Legacy of the Void, they seem to have broken Heart of the Swarm today as well. So this is the final deciding match, folks. It's currently 3-3 between Evil Geniuses and Prime. Jaedong are pulling out 2 of the wins for Evil Geniuses, and then InControl pulling out the 3rd. And then finally, we have TangTang and Suppy going at it in a pretty standard game, as standard as it gets on a map they've played a million times. I'm hoping to see a good game from both of them regardless. TangTang looking to set up the standard wall-off to begin. And gas is up, indicating that he will be going for a Reaper opening. This is a hatch first play from Suppy. That's fine. You can do that against a Reaper. The Reaper might be a little bit more annoying, but we will see. He should be okay regardless. Most Zerg players these days are able to avoid taking real damage from this Reaper, even if they don't get a pull before the hatchery. So he should be okay, but you never know. You know, we might see a drone or 2 lost, which is, I mean, that is the most you could ever hope for with a Reaper at this stage. Ideally, you're just looking for scouting information for the most part. But we will see. Alright, TangTang looking for the scout. And looking for the CC. He's actually not looking. There we go. There's the scout, and there's the CC. So far, so standard from both players. Nothing too unusual. I'm at least glad that we were able to get that sorted out, because what a farce that was. Seeing Reaper move across the map. 6lings on the way, so as I said, not much damage going to be done here, I don't think. Unfortunately, we're getting, again, a little bit of lag because screw StarCraft 2 at this point. Nice pullback on the link. Suppy avoiding unnecessary loss there. This Reaper is having a cheeky little time of it, trying to take out the Zerg Cocoon. That's never going to happen. Not in a million years. Ling's moving in, doing yet more damage. Great micro here from Suppy, actually. Great control. And up comes the Queen, and that Reaper is going to be leaving without taking a single casualty to its name. Which is ideal for the Zerg. Immaculate defense there by Suppy. Not losing any drones. Scouting information has been acquired, though, by TangTang. He knows all he really needs to know at this point. TangTang just trying to drive away these Lings, but he did lose a Marine in the process, so not too ideal. 1 unit lost. Marine was killed, and no Lings so far dead. I mean, Suppy playing a perfect game up to this point. Quick starport right here from TangTang. See what he decides to do with that. Could be looking for an elevator play. Could, of course, also be looking for the Banshee. We saw TangTang's tendency to go for Banshee in the previous game against Jaedong. It did not do too well. Suppy now looking to take a 3rd base. I do wonder what this starport is for. What's the gas count at? It's... I mean, he's going to go for medevac. He could go for Banshee after that, but looks like he's just going to go for the... Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, that's unusual. All right. That is a super early armory here from TangTang, and that really can only mean one thing, and that is Hellbat play. Unusual. We don't generally see early Hellbats anymore. They're less popular than they used to be, but you can still make them work. So we might see a little bit of a Hellbat drop. We may also see... What's more likely is perhaps an elevator play and then a transformation. It's probably the way to go, I think. He's got several Hellions out on the map. He may, of course, choose to pressure in 2 places at once with this. All of these are possibilities, or he may just go for a straight-up forward push. And you know what? There are only 4 Queens and 4 Lings on the board here. We're not going to see a supply block from that, but it sucks to lose it anyway. And here it is. It's going to be a straight-up Hellbat push. If this does not work, then TangTang is incredibly far behind. His SCV count is only 26. But there's almost no defense here for Suppy. He's working with Queens alone, really, at this point. He's pulling drones right into Hellbats, which is absolutely devastating. All the drones melt almost immediately, and this really quick 2-base Hellbat push, which sacrificed a lot of economy to make it work, is currently doing the job. Suppy really needs to transfuse. He gets the transfuse. More Lings moving in here, but the Hellbats roast them in short order. More drones being pulled off the line. Focus fire required, but with one medevac backing it up, it's difficult, and that's it! Prime takes it. 4 games to 3. TangTang with the Hellbat push all in. He gets it. Hellbat push all in, is that even a real thing? I'd say that was a Hellbat all in. I mean, if you look at how many SCVs he pulled, it was really all or nothing at that point. He invested a lot to make that happen. And he pulls it off. Prime gets the victory. A close victory, but a victory nonetheless. Congratulations there to Prime. Hard fought, but he gets it. Only just. By the skin of their teeth, perhaps, but TangTang avenges his loss there against Jaedong and takes the game against Suppy for the victory. Ooh, well, that was an interesting clan war. Everything that could go wrong did, I think. No real doubt about that, but it's nice to see Prime pick up the win. This is, of course, their second win in the clan wars. They had dropped 2 games prior to that, but they get the victory here. And EG, sadly, will not be walking home with another victory. But well fought regardless. Good games from Jaedong, good games from InControl, and an excellent 2v2 here today that went Prime's way only in the last moments. And that is that for the time being. We do have another clan war coming up later this week, ladies and gentlemen, on the 17th, that being the Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Complexity IG versus Clan Who. And then hopefully a few more to round out and then, of course, end the season. And then in August, we'll be launching our new SHOUTCraft initiative, which will be replacing Clan Wars. If you need to know why we're doing that, check out the Team Liquid thread. My statement is in there as to why we're changing things around. But I am very confident that you will enjoy what we have to show you. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Thank you for putting up with all of the problems today. And I'll see you next time. Good night.